And before we move forward, can you tell me a little bit about your job? Just what are your day-to-day responsibilities and what do you do at Renew?
Sure. Yes. Over time, I've held about six different positions here at the company. So I started in sales and marketing, and then went into business intelligence and a lot of data visualizations and reporting. I've set up our software stack and configured a lot of the different types of endpoints. I've been able to grow and develop people in our departments, whether it's sales, marketing, business intelligence, and currently I'm more of a sort of a partner liaison, if you will. I speak with software vendors, I speak with our manufacturing partners, lead vendors, also with customers, and just really help lay out some strategies and then tie things back to our internal team so that people understand what our end goals are and how do we want to work together to achieve those goals. So my day to day is somewhat dynamic, but more or less in the spirit of scaling our business effectively and profitably, and a lot of that is leaning into software and leaning on partners who are really strong in the space, great reputations, really about their business. And so that's more or less it in a nutshell nowadays. And it's been quite the journey, to say the least.
Interesting, having come from sales and marketing and moving more into the tech side. And
Yes.
I'm curious how your job is uh, actually, I guess, defined. Do you consider it to be an IT job or a tech job or an operations job or a strategy job? Because it sounds like you're, kind of doing bits of all these things.
Yeah, I have. I have. They sometimes call me a Swiss Army knife or jack of all trades. But I'm more or less aligned to business development nowadays. When there was a heavy need for a lot of our analytics to be set up, a lot of our software suite to be determined which one we're going to use, and then configure all of that. I was leaning into that pretty heavily, and that was a lot during the time of remote, sort of in the COVID era, if you will, where we couldn't see each other face to face. We used to do a lot of binders and papers and handing stuff to each other. That wasn't an option. So we've never shut down even through that period. We were considered
Mhm.
essential business. So, I kind of, as out of a need, was able to sort of find solutions to work remotely and still cohesively as a team. So yes, it's leaned into some of those needs as they came up, but more or less now it's also a sort of business development because we do have a pretty well-run machine, I must say, by most standards in this industry. It is construction at the end of the day. We are a full-service general contractor and electrician, so we do both of those in-house with our own tech teams. And it is surprising to a lot of people to see how much software we use and how we leverage data for insights. Considering we're just a construction company who turns wrenches and screws. I mean, not to be understated, but we want to make sure we're turning it in a profitable manner. So that's what
Sure.
we lean on the data for. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all dealt with projects in construction. Maybe it's as simple as doing a deck or, for our own houses or whatever, but you always want those projects to work
Yes. Yes.
repeatedly over and over and over again.
Correct.
And,
Correct.
you know, just as an aside for the audience, I think it's great if you are in analytics to be aligned with a department like business development or sales, people bringing in the actual money. That's a great department to be in. Uh,
Correct. You need it. You need it. You want to start at the very front all the way downstream, right? So that's really what we've been able to configure now, and use Zoho and how malleable it is for us to configure everything for our specific use cases, which does change over time. And we've been able to work with them and really find a sort of a sweet spot, if you will, that's helping us really accelerate this turnaround time from signing a contract to installing. That's always like a race against the clock because there's so many variables, so many steps, and a lot of it is out of our control when it comes to permit offices, utilities giving approvals, HOAs giving approvals. Some of those stages are out of our control at their time frame. So anything that's within our control, though, we want to make sure we're executing in an expedited fashion and at a quality level as well, without sacrificing that for the speed. So it is a balance for sure, and we're doing quite well with that.